Hello. And we begin with a letter, a real one for once. It's from a Mr. John Fox, and it goes like this. Dear Jeremy so-called Clarkson, for once, do you think it might be possible to test some cars in your programme that people can actually afford? Exclamation mark, exclamation mark, exclamation mark. Well, Mr. Fox, this is the 2-litre turbo diesel Volkswagen Jetta. But first, we start with this. This is the new Ford GT, and we have had thousands of letters from people all asking the same thing. We know it's fast, very fast, but is it faster than an airliner?
Well, not thousands of letters.
No, not thousands of letters.
You mean none?
Yes, we've had no letters at all. But I was interested in finding out anyway. But now, this. It's a letter from a young man called Jensen, who lives in Monte Carlo. Dear Top Gear, my car is always breaking down. Please, 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 could you fix it for me to drive something more reliable around your track? How could we possibly say no, ladies and gentlemen? Please welcome Jensen Button!
How are you? Right.
I have a letter. The nearest civilization is a town called Moron.
Is it?
That's a surprise. It's hundreds of miles away. In order to reach it, you must build the contents of these boxes. You have enough food and water for 7 days. After every single film we ever show on the Grand Tour, we always get a load of messages from people on social media, I say people, I mean teenagers, saying that they didn't like the film because it was too scripted, too faked and too set up.
Yeah, we do. I've got one of them here. It's from Monaro Boy 4541, who says, I hated that thing you did in Morocco because it was too scripted. Why can't you do stuff like you did in Portugal, which I also hated because it was too set up?
Yeah, so we decided to make a completely unplanned film. No scouts going ahead to find locations, no pre-scripted exchanges between us, no set-up explosions.
No. All we agreed on was that we should do whatever it was we were going to do in Croatia.
Get thousands of letters every week sent here to our Top Gear office, and to be honest, most of them we ignore. Until recently, we suddenly decided, well, this is an untapped resource, and we've spotted a bit of a theme developing.
Absolutely. We get 100 million letters every week from women complaining about their men's love of cars.
This is true, we do.
We don't write to Trini and Susanna on what not to wear and complain about women coming out of changing rooms going, this dress is perfect and I love the colour, I'll try something else on.
No, we don't.
And yet, let me just share this one. This is from Corinna Behrman of Swindon, and she says, in December last year, I was expecting our baby. I went into labour, we went to hospital, my labour turned out to be slow, and we sat watching television in the communal lounge area. Top Gear came on as I started to get painful contractions. My fiancé, Darren, as always, was glued to your programme and was oblivious to the pain I was in. Occasionally, he turned to me and asked, all right? And then turned back to your programme before I'd even responded. Only after Top Gear had finished did he pay any attention we were able to go back to my hospital room.
Yes, if you're going to write a letter in, try and have a point, or maybe something contentious in there. Well, what's that about?
I have no idea.
This theme continues. I've got one here. Now, along the same sort of line. Hi, Jeremy! With an exclamation mark. It's very irritating. But this is from Claire, and she signed it with a little X, which is like a little kiss. My boyfriend has just bought a new Audi A3. Fair enough. Now he's driving me mad with this new game he has where he tries to flip the remote locking from as far away as possible. Is he normal? Yes, clearly. In fact, I'd say, if anything, he sounds like a bit of an amateur.
Yeah, because it's how you do the flip that matters.
Claire, I'm going to... This is for your fella. I'm going to show some moves here.
Yeah.
I've got some special ones. This first one is called the Bond, and it's perhaps more of a closing manoeuvre. So the car's there, and you walk away from your car, thus, and then at the last minute, you turn and fire. It's a simple, good one to start with, I reckon.
Keeping the range good.
Yeah.
I quite like the high shot. If you could demonstrate that.
Well, the true high shot is that.
That's the high shot, which we like very much. Then there's a really good one, which is the I've lost my car in the multi-storey.
That's also known as the lawn sprinkler, like that.
Waiting for
like that, yes.
Waiting for the things to come up. All this stuff is being spoiled by these things. This is keyless entry, OK? Now, they tell us that when you walk up to the car, if you've got one of these in your pocket, the door is open, OK? So I was walking up to the car, opening the door, thinking, that's fine, you get out, lock it, and you assume if you walk away, it'll lock itself.
It does, doesn't it?
Well, this is it. You've got 100 gram Merc, and you think, is that locked? So you go back, and it's open, and you think, well, it would be.
To be,
So you have to say to passers-by, sorry, could you just hold that? Then you go back, and then you find out it doesn't lock itself.
Yeah.
You have to push a button. How uncool is that?
That's very poor. I must say that I think they're going the wrong way with these sort of pairing
that back, actually.
with these key cards, paring them down to nothing. I think if they really want to know their market and appeal to, let's be honest, us chaps, they should go the other way and make them more elaborate.
Getting back to the original question about range, I was told something, and you don't know this, I was told something this morning which sounded astonishing. So I had to try it out. I am now about 40 yards from the back of my car, and the central locking is still working fine. But if I go back another 10 or 15 yards to say here, we're out of range. However, if I put the key against my head, like so, and try again, it's working! Doesn't work like that. Does work. What have I done to my head? It does work. It doubles the range, pretty much. It doubles the range that it works using your head.
Do you have to have your mouth open?
No, it's just like a big amplifier.
I just don't get that. If you've got the faintest idea how that works, please write to us at www.bbc.co.uk/Top Gear, or about anything else.
Yeah, no, if you've got any letters, we're now going to be doing this every week. Read them out if they're interesting.
Yes, that'll do.
But anyway, let's get on to some of our viewers' letters. Now, you may remember, last week, we discovered that if you hold your car's remote control central locking device against your head, it doubles its range, OK? Now, we didn't understand that.
No.
There was a girl in the audience last week who was a scientist, and she said it had to do with the fillings in your teeth.
Yeah, but we tested that.
We did. Our producer deigned to come into work one day, and
nice.
he has no fillings in his teeth, and it worked for him, so it isn't that. Loads of people have written to us, and all we've been able to discover is that no scientists watch Top Gear.
No, that much is clear.
Not one. There's a chap here who says the reason is it's because your body acts like a grounding plane, which sounds good. It sounds a sort of plausible explanation, but then you read on and he's got a GSXR 1000, which I believe...
That was brilliant. Yeah. He's a biker, sound fellow, I believe it. Lots of people think it is your body that does it. Guy here, Craig from Bromley, reckons it's because your body has iron in it.
Well,
but it does, but a tiny bit.
I have no iron in my body. I am pure fat.
All the way through?
Yeah, I am just fat. From here down... Well, fat and hair.
What I say is it's nice to be consistent.
I am, yeah. There's a chap here called Zuncan at America Online, and he says it's human bones, a great amplifier of radio waves, and it's something to do with your elbows.
No, we had loads that were to do with bits of your body doing this. So we had one guy who reckons it's your ears working his radar, which I quite like. Another one, I'm not sure about this, saying it's your nasal cavities. Apparently they're as big as an acoustic guitar or something, which... They're not, are they? Close, but it's
I'm
not.
looking at you and I'm thinking it's quite a big schnozzer, but it's nowhere near an acoustic guitar.
That ain't no guitar. No.
You know, I'm not going to see you come up. That bloke's got a guitar on his face.
For a nose.
It's rubbish.
No, you're not. I know, there's some bizarre
what
stuff.
they're basically saying, I think what the audience is saying here is that if you were to build a creature that had my bone structure with sort of enormous elbows and Martin Clunes' ears...
Looking good.
...and Daniela Westbrook's nose...
Nice touch.
...you could set off some nuclear missiles in North Korea from your house in Birmingham.
Yeah, perfect.
Another sequence of letters that we've had this week is from children who are ashamed, frankly, of the cars that they're being taken to school in. There's a chap here, George Howard, he's 14 years old. He says his father takes him to school in a 1992 white Fiat Panda.
Oh, no, that's cruel. That's not right.
He actually says, God has not answered my request for help, no matter how much I ask him. He says, I am so desperate I even tried sacrificing a small goat.
See, it's having an effect already. This is serious. This has a deep sociological effect. It's a short trip from being dropped off in a rubbish car at school to, well, they'll be kicking down the door of your bedsit and finding a head in your fridge next.
There will be.
You know, it's...
So listen, kids, you know, I know there's a lot of discussion in the newspapers and on TV about the school run, what it should be done in. It's what type of car. That's what matters. If you're ashamed by your parents' car, then write to us and we'll shame them. So George Howard of, where's he from? The internet. George Howard from the internet, Mr. and Mrs. Howard, sell the Panda.
It doesn't have to be expensive or a Ferrari, just not rubbish and embarrassing.
Exactly.
We'll have a nation of loonies otherwise. Can I just say, obviously we had a lot of mail about the Stig. Odd one here from Steve Rowland. We have a cat called Stig. So can you please change the name of your racing driver to something other than Stig? Because every time your programme on his sleep is disturbed when you mention the Stig's name. Actually, come to think of it, Stig. See those slippers? Pee in them.
We finally found a fuel station. Oh. Now that's an oil company name I wasn't expecting.
Really? I know this is childish, but it's just...
I wish we had turd petrol in Britain.
Is there turd petrol?
Why don't they sponsor a Formula One team?
Powered by turd.
Think of the skid marks.
Think of the commentary.
At the petrol station, I discovered a problem.
You are joking. It's only got a 50-litre fuel tank. A 50-litre? What's the point of a 50-litre fuel tank?
You join us at another petrol station. I don't need any, but guess who does? Half an hour later, we were told to brim the tanks in our cars and pay careful attention to the challenge we were about to receive.
Hang on a minute. You will now see which of your cars can achieve the highest speed.
Well, that'll be mine. It's as simple as that. It's the fastest.
How fast your car can go is not relevant.
Well, it sort of
It's
is.
how fast you dare drive it.
It's 35 miles. 4 gallons will do it. That will do.
You notice how his right bicep is now slightly bigger than his left one? Have you also noticed that when he fills his car up, he stands like a teapot?
James, I've run out of money.
Have you? What an interesting predicament.
Please, can I borrow some money? Even though there are these huge cooling ducts here and the engine has no cover at all, that thing has 10 radiators. 3 to cool the engine itself, 3 for the intercoolers, 1 to do the axle oil, 1 to do the engine oil, and 1 to cool the hydraulic fluid used to raise that rear spoiler. It's got more radiators than my house. This is going to be a Formula One style pit stop, this is. Where's the fuel filler cap button?
I'll have the white Bordeaux.
Why don't they put them in the same place? Have you ever seen a more stupid place to put a fuel filler cap release? Come on! That was a fraught filler. What a place to put it when you're in a race. It's 1 minute to 4 French time. They are now, as we speak, arriving in Paris. Just eating the petrol in one big lump, all 20 gallons. That was delicious. You're going to need some more of that. Right, I've done the calculations on my phone, and it's doing 19 miles to the gallon. Bearing in mind we're only cruising, you'd have to say, drinks like an Aston should.
Lovely. Look who it is.
Funny.
What?
Really funny.
It's not funny. This is Oliver. Can I put the posh fuel in?
It's Oliver.
What? Oh, come on. James.
What?
It's Sebastian. Formula One.
Is that German driving bloke?
Sebastian.
Sebastian Vettel. Excuse me. Are you Mr. Vettel?
Yes.
Sebastian, could you help us out with something?
What is it?
Well, we're out driving these two cars, and we're trying to decide which is the perfect car to take just for a drive for pleasure. And obviously we're not going to agree, but could you be like the umpire?
To help you decide.
Yeah.
We stopped for a fill-up.
Let's have some very good petrol. Primesti. Thank you.
Did you try your Romanian on him?
Or her. Or her. They didn't have any tangy, zesty orange drink, but they've got that.
Intense energy.
Burn. What is this? This not a can of petrol, is it?
It tastes like it's good for you. No. Whoa.
You can run an Aston on this stuff.
I've just popped round the back of the garage for a wee, and I'm no gardener, but I think I know what that is.
And whilst Jeremy had been investigating the Bob Marley tree,